Hello, I want to welcome you to GovSchool today, and this is a continued series where we're talking about issues of importance to the members of GovDirections. Always join us every Monday at 2 p.m., every Wednesday at 4:30 p.m., and then every Friday at 11 a.m. as we cover a lot of different topics related to government procurement, with somewhat of a focus on the COVID-19 funding more recently. But as always, staying on top of issues such as emergency preparedness and making sure that your organization is prepared to win those contracts that evolve from emergency disaster situations. So we're going to have a special guest talk to us today about emergency preparedness and how to make sure you're registered with various states that are typically hit by the hurricanes or the tropical storms. Focus there, but don't forget also other types of situations, for example, fires as well as earthquakes. Oftentimes, we're forcing governments to step forward very quickly to hire companies that provide specific services in that area. As always, GovDirections does monitor those agencies, and you can come in at any given time and sign up for a free scheduled demonstration here, so we can go through and do a personal tour for you. But as a reminder, the government system in the United States is fragmented, not broken by any sense, but fragmented. So there's a lot of different local governments like cities and counties and schools and special districts of all kinds. So we'd like to use a lot of special districts in the United States. And if you're not currently a member, make sure you consider the offer we have with the code word START, all caps, and that'll get you started with our system so that you can go through at any given time and monitor those active bids and proposals being sought by local governments throughout the United States. We do have a proof of work concept at GovDirections, and so you can come in and see those listings each morning at GovDirections, either through the daily alert or watch us throughout the day as we add some 5,000 cost for bids. But today what we want to do is focus in on emergency procurement related to disasters. And we have a guest who is actually interning with us this summer, Ms. Molly Redder. And I'm going to ask Molly if she wouldn't mind giving this presentation. And she will has her screen flipped over here, and she'll introduce herself. So how are you doing today, Molly?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much, Mr. Knowles. Yes, my name is Molly Redder, and I'm interning with GovDirections this summer. I'm currently a student at the University of Georgia studying my MPA, Master's of Public Administration and Policy, and I'll be graduating this summer. So yeah, what I just want to talk to everyone about today is disaster relief contracting at the federal, state, and local level. So following a disaster, potential contractors have opportunities to assist with cleanup and these recovery efforts. And for inexperienced contractors, this bidding process can be quite intimidating and confusing. So the goal of this presentation will be to educate you about how to engage your business in contracting with the government after a disaster. And like Mark mentioned, hurricane season is coming up, and these resources are very important if you're looking to do business with the government after a hurricane. And contracting with the federal government does contrast with contracting with state or local governments. So we'll first discuss how to engage in disaster relief contracting with the federal government. But before we talk about the specifics regarding federal disaster relief contracting, I want to first bring attention to the Thomas T. Stafford Disaster Relief and Emergency Assistance Act, which was signed into law in 1988 and amended the Disaster Relief Act of 1974. This act requires FEMA to contract with businesses located in the affected area when feasible and practical. So what do you need to know about federal disaster contracting? To be considered, potential contractors must be registered in the appropriate federal databases to be eligible for contract awards. The first database you must register your business is with the System for Award Management, or SAM. You must then complete the Disaster Response Information section in SAM. So SAM is a free site that you can use and register your business to do business with the government, update or renew your entity registration, check the status of an entity registration, and search for entity registration and exclusion rewards. And as you can see, this website presents you steps you can complete to register your business. So once you register on SAM, You then would need to complete the disaster response information section in order to get on the disaster response registry. This registry is used by FEMA and the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers to establish their list of contractors. This website presented here represents a frequently asked questions with answers such as what is this disaster response registry and how one can add their company to this registry. You should also make sure you complete FEMA's Industry Liaison Program vendor profile form and submit to FEMA-industry@fema.dhs.gov. This is the form that you would need to fill out presented on this slide. You can access this form through this website. Next, we'll talk about contracting with state and local governments. This is important because state and local agencies control a large portion of disaster response activities. And just like with federal contracting, potential contractors must be registered in the appropriate state and or local databases to be eligible for contract awards. The state's emergency management offices will be actively engaged with first responders, FEMA regional offices located near the disaster, and other federal agencies that have been rallied to respond to the emergency. So to register with the appropriate databases, you would want to go to each state's prospective emergency management agencies, such as GEMA, to learn more about how to register and get involved. So here's a list of all the Gulf and up the Atlantic Coast states' website for disaster management, where you can find more information about contracting with state and local governments. So this is Texas's disaster management website. And as you can see, there's resources for localities, also how to contact them, stuff like that. And I'm gonna go through each of the previous links, all their websites. And this is Louisiana's emergency page. And this is Mississippi's. And this is Alabama's. And this is North Carolina's. And this is Georgia's. And this is Florida's. And this is South Carolina's. And this is Virginia's. And so that was all of the state's emergency websites that I did have a link for if you would like to access those links. And so once you've registered on all the prospective sites, you can visit these websites for more opportunities related to disaster relief contracting at the federal and state level. And these sites include the Army Corps of Engineers, Red Cross, Small Business Administration, Defense Logistics Agency, Beta.SAM, DHS Advanced Acquisition Planning System, and also potential contracting opportunities with DHS prime contractors. So thank you guys all for listening, and I'll now turn it back over to Mr. Knowles.
Thank you very much, Molly. That was a really good job. I hope everyone today has learned a little bit more about emergency contracting with disaster relief. Just to point out again, the fragmentation, it creates an issue, but it's not broken by any sense, but a lot of different agencies involved. And that's one reason why you want to make sure you monitor GovDirections. We have research staff collecting information from each of those agencies. And every day we're going to deliver those to you based on your individual account settings within GovDirections. And so if you're a consultant in emergency preparedness, for example, you want to make sure you monitor this particular category. Here you actually will see active contracts at any given time across the country in this area. For example, here's emergency recovery for the coronavirus, but not just in particular with hurricane season, but all types of emergency contracting requirements. And in addition, if you're more in services and supplies, you may also want to make sure you monitor under the services section the debris removal category and disaster recovery. We find a lot of different our opportunities are listed here as well. And so at any given time, you're able to come in and take a look at those individual contracts by state and and then also by category, so you don't miss any of those particular opportunities that exist. For example, here's one in Georgia today. And as a reminder, when you click on an actual listing within GovDirections, you are required to be authenticated. That membership starts at around $20 per month for one state, and then multiple regions are allowed. But here is in Cobb County, a very large project. We always provide that detail to you so you can actually, of course, save the bid, come back to a little bit later if you like, but also going straight through and start bidding on that contract, and have the ability to come in and map that agency. We just in Georgia alone cover over 1,500 different agencies that are available, where they're issuing actual procurement contracts. And so we like to showcase that, and at any given time you can come in and take a look at those. But once again, we're glad you were able to join us this session. And if you do have any questions, feel free to give us a call, 800-492-8523, or sign up for a personal demonstration where we can walk through your company's requirements and give you some actual matches to you. And we have those times available on a weekly basis. But here we are at the end of the session. Feel free to make sure you are able to join us at our weekly scheduled topic times, 2 p.m. on Monday, where we talk about new topics each week, 4:30 on Wednesday Eastern Standard Time, where we have a focus on entrepreneur sessions, where we talk as a group on issues that we're faced with. Then at 11 a.m. on Fridays, where we wrap up. And we also talk about things that sort of details of government contracting. I use the SAM registration as one of those. How to go through and actually register for SAM, for example, the System for Award Management, or that local government that you might want to do business with. So I thank you for listening today, and have a great afternoon.